There is a specific feeling that comes with absolute power. It is not the frantic energy of trying to prove something. It is not the loud, desperate shout of someone asking to be noticed. Absolute power is silence. It is the ability to change the atmosphere of a room simply by walking into it. It is the ability to stop traffic without raising a hand. It is the heavy, undeniable gravity of presence. In the automotive world, there are thousands of fast cars. There are hundreds of luxury cars. But there is only one vehicle that commands the road with the authority of a monarch and the swagger of a modern icon. This is not just an SUV. This is a coronation on wheels. This is the 2026 Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge, reimagined through the lens of high fashion. This is the Gucci Commission. When you first see it, your brain struggles to categorize it. It is massive, standing tall like a fortress of steel and aluminum, yet it possesses a grace that seems impossible for its size. The standard Cullinan is a statement of wealth, but the Black Badge is a statement of attitude. It is the alter ego. It is Rolls-Royce after dark. And then you add the Gucci influence. This is where history collides with the avant-garde. This is where the finest automotive engineering in England shakes hands with the most daring fashion house in Italy. It is a collaboration that shouldn't work, but it does. It works because both brands understand one fundamental truth. True luxury is about obsession. Look at the exterior. The paint is not just black, it is a deep, abyssal void that seems to absorb the light around it. It is a matte finish, smooth as silk, that eats the reflections of the city. The famous Pantheon grille, usually a shining beacon of chrome, is darkened here. It is black chrome, polished to a mirror finish that looks like liquid obsidian. The spirit of ecstasy, the woman who has guided Rolls-Royce for over a century, stands at the prow, draped in darkness. She is no longer just a guide, she is a guardian. But look closer. Running along the shoulder line, painted by a single hand with a squirrel hair brush, is the coach line. In a standard Rolls-Royce, this might be gold or silver. Here, it is the signature Gucci green and red. It is subtle. It is a whisper of color against the darkness. It is the first hint that this machine is something different. It tells the onlooker that the person inside does not play by the traditional rules of the aristocracy. They play by the rules of the runway. The wheels are 23 inches, massive forged alloys that fill the arches completely. The self-riding center caps ensure the RR logo is always upright, always perfect, even at speed. But behind those spokes, you see the brake calipers, finished in that same bespoke Gucci crimson. It is a flash of passion behind the cold industrial metal. Driving this machine through the city is an exercise in dominance. You do not merge, traffic parts for you. The sheer scale of the Cullinan makes other SUVs, the Cayennes, the Range Rovers, look insignificant. They look like toys. This looks like architecture. People do not try to race you. They simply watch. They pull out their phones. They stare. Because this vehicle represents an arrival. It says that you have not just climbed the mountain, you have bought the mountain. But the exterior is just the armor. The true experience, the soul of this machine, lives behind the heavy coach doors. You reach out, you touch the handle. The door swings open effortlessly, revealing an interior that is less like a car cabin and more like a private VIP lounge in Milan or Paris. This is where the collaboration truly breathes. The scent hits you first. It is the smell of expensive leather, rich and earthy, mixed with the faint, crisp scent of polished wood and wool. It smells like money. The seats are upholstered in a bespoke leather unique to this commission. It is softer than anything you have ever felt, sourced from high-altitude herds where no barbed wire can scar the hide. But the pattern is where the magic lies. The center panels feature the interlocking double G monogram embossed subtly into the leather. It is not a loud print, it is a texture. It catches the light, shifting and changing as you move. Running down the center of the seats is the Gucci web, green, red, green, woven from a technical fabric that feels durable yet exquisite. It creates a visual spine for the interior, a line of color that cuts through the black and white contrast of the cabin. The dashboard is a gallery. The gallery, as Rolls-Royce calls it, is a glass-encased space on the passenger side where art can be displayed. In this car, the gallery houses a piece of unique textile art, a swatch of vintage floral silk from the Gucci archives, preserved behind glass like a museum piece. It connects the heritage of the fashion house with the permanence of the car. You slide into the driver's seat. It is positioned high. You are looking down on the world. You press the button on the door frame, and the massive door closes itself automatically. The latch clicks shut, and the silence descends. It is a profound silence. The windows are double-paned acoustic glass, 6 millimeters thick. The floor is lined with hundreds of pounds of sound-deadening material. The chaos of the outside world, the sirens, the shouting, the wind, the stress is instantly severed. You are in a vacuum. You are in a sanctuary. Your feet sink into the lamb's wool floor mats. They are thick, plush, and dyed in a deep, rich black. It feels criminal to wear shoes in here. Above you, the Starlight headliner comes to life. Thousands of fiber optic cables, hand-placed into the leather roof, twinkle like the night sky. In this commission, the stars are arranged to mimic the constellation under which the Gucci house was founded. Occasionally, a shooting star streaks across the roof, a fleeting moment of magic that you can summon on command. You press the start button. Ideally, a 12-cylinder engine should roar. It should shake the chassis. It should let you know it is awake. But this is a Rolls-Royce. The 6.75-liter twin-turbo V12 wakes up with a distant, polite hum. It is barely audible. It is a sleeping giant. This engine produces nearly 600 horsepower and a torque figure that could move a building, but it doesn't deliver that power with violence. It delivers it with inevitability.
You shift into drive using the column-mounted stock, thin, elegant, like a wand. You lift your foot off the brake and the Cullinan glides forward. This is the sensation that defines the brand, the magic carpet ride. The suspension system is scanning the road ahead with cameras. It sees potholes, bumps, and imperfections milliseconds before you hit them, and it relaxes the suspension to absorb the impact. The result is that you don't feel the road. You float over it. The car feels disconnected from the pavement, hovering 6 inches above the asphalt. It is surreal. It makes the world feel soft. But this is the Black Badge, and that means there is a hidden edge. On the gear stock, there is a button marked low. This is the only sport mode you will get. You press it. The exhaust note deepens. A valve opens somewhere in the back, and the V12 finds its voice. It is not a scream, it is a baritone growl. It sounds like thunder rolling in from the distance. The throttle response sharpens. The steering gets a fraction heavier. You bury your right foot. The nose of the car lifts proudly, just like a speedboat rising out of the water. And then the surge begins. It is endless. It is relentless. You are pushed back into the Gucci monogrammed leather as 3 tons of British steel are hurled toward the horizon. The speedometer needle climbs effortlessly. There are no frantic gear shifts. The transmission uses GPS data to see the road ahead and selects the perfect gear before you even know you need it. It is seamless. You are moving at speeds that would be terrifying in a lesser car, but in here it feels calm. You are doing triple digits, but you could hold a whisper conversation with your passenger. That is the luxury of the V12. It never feels strained. It never feels like it is working hard. It has so much reserve power that it treats highway speeds with total indifference. This car is built for a new generation. The old image of Rolls-Royce, the gray-haired man in the back seat reading a newspaper, is dead. This car is for the 30-year-old tech mogul, the fashion icon, the athlete, the person who drives themselves. They want the luxury, but they don't want the boredom. They want the connection. That is why the Black Badge exists. It is sharper, it is more responsive, it encourages you to take the corner a little faster, to lean into the torque. And yet, despite the power, the cabin remains a lounge. The technology is there, but it is hidden. The screens are crisp and high definition, but they don't dominate the dashboard. They can be hidden away behind a wood or carbon fiber panel when not in use. Rolls-Royce believes that technology is a servant, not a master. It should be there when you need it, and invisible when you don't. If you do choose to sit in the back, the experience is akin to flying private. The individual rear seats are separated by a center console that houses a champagne fridge and 2 crystal flutes. You pour a drink. The glass is heavy in your hand. You recline the seat. You extend the footrest. You bring up a movie on the rear screen. You look out the window at the world passing by. You see the blur of the common cars, the frustration of the commuters, and you feel completely removed from it. You are in a capsule of time and space that operates by its own rules. This is what you are paying for. You are not paying for the metal or the leather. You are paying for the isolation. You are paying for the feeling of being untouchable. In a market filled with competitors, the Cullinan stands alone. People will talk about the Bentley Bentayga. It is a fine car, sporty and quick, but it shares its DNA with Audi and Porsche. People will mention the Lamborghini Urus. It is a beast, loud and angry, but it is frantic. It is always shouting. The Mercedes Maybach is luxurious, but at its heart, it is still a GLS. The Cullinan sits on its own dedicated architecture. It was designed from the ground up to be a Rolls-Royce. It shares nothing with a lesser vehicle. It is the only true ultra-luxury SUV because it doesn't try to be a sports car. It knows what it is. It is the king. And the Gucci Commission takes that royalty and dresses it for the modern era. It acknowledges that luxury today is about expression. It's about branding. It's about the flex. When you pull up to a valet in this machine, the reaction is different. The valets have driven Ferraris, they have driven McLarens, they are used to speed. But when this rolls up, silent, massive, blacked out, with that hint of green and red, they straighten up, they treat it with reverence. It demands respect. As the sun sets and the city lights turn on, the Cullinan Black Badge transforms again. The interior ambient lighting glows softly. The starlight headliner reflects in the dark windows. The illuminated grille at the front cuts a path through the darkness. You are driving a piece of history. You are driving a symbol. To own this car is to admit that you have completed the game. There is no upgrade from here. There is no next level. This is the ceiling. This is the summit. It is a vehicle that balances contradictions perfectly. It is heavy, yet light on its feet. It is dark and menacing, yet warm and inviting inside. It is traditional, yet completely modern. It is a Rolls-Royce, yet it is Gucci. It is not for everyone. Most people will look at it and not understand. They will ask why anyone needs a V12 SUV that costs more than a mansion. They will ask why you need lamb's wool carpets or a fridge for your champagne. But the person who buys this car doesn't ask why. They ask, why not? They buy it because they can. They buy it because they appreciate the art of excess. They buy it because they want the absolute best without compromise. As you park the car and the silence returns, you take a moment to sit there. The spirit of ecstasy retracts into the hood to stay safe for the night. The stars above you fade out. The engine sleeps. You open the door and the noise of the world rushes back in. But for those few hours, you were untouched. You were the master of your environment. This is the 2026 Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge Gucci. It is not just an SUV, it is a lifestyle. It is a statement. It is the ultimate expression of what happens when limitless money meets limitless imagination. It is the peak, and the view from up here is magnificent.